Welcome to News Briefs. Welcome to the weekly summary of News Briefs. Today, Sunday, September 7, 2025, we bring you the highlights of the week in politics, finance, science, health, technology, sports, and entertainment.
That's right. A lot to cover this week.
Let's start with the summary. We kick off the week with political news, and, well, there was quite a bit of international tension, a serious naval incident in the South Caribbean, right?
Oh, absolutely. A major flashpoint. We're talking about a confirmed event back on Tuesday, September 2nd.
Right.
U.S. military forces attacked and, well, sank a Venezuelan vessel.
And this was in international waters, wasn't it? Which, immediately brings up questions.
Exactly. International law, sovereignty. Washington's official line is that the vessel was involved in drug trafficking, and they classified the 11 crew members who died as narco-terrorists, linked them to the Tren de Aragua group.
That's a very specific, very strong label, and President Trump himself said it was a direct order.
He did. Publicly stated it came from him. And you have to remember the context here. There was already a massive American naval deployment in the area.
Destroyers, amphibious ships,
Yeah.
even a nuclear sub,
Yeah.
patrol planes.
A lot of hardware.
It's a huge show of force. Sends a pretty clear message.
And Venezuela's response, President Maduro, he denied everything, right? Called the deaths extrajudicial executions.
Yes, flat denial on the drug trafficking.
Yeah.
And he accused the U.S. of actively trying for regime change.
There was also that video of the attack going around. Initially some doubts, but then confirmed as real.
That's correct. So we have actual footage. The details are that the vessel left San Juan de Unare on August 31st, supposedly for Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
The attack itself was early September 1st, used a Hellfire missile launched from an MQ-9 drone.
The drone attack really highlights the tech involved in these conflicts now. Precision, distance.
Definitely. But the tension didn't stop there. Just a few days later, September 5th.
The U.S. reported Venezuelan F-16s making provocative maneuvers, flew really close to the USS Jason Danham, a U.S. destroyer.
And again, in international waters, so the U.S. responds.
10 F-22s deployed to Puerto Rico.
Wow.
And today, President Trump was asked, point blank, if they'd attack cartels inside Venezuela.
Oh.
His reply was just, "You'll find out."
Not exactly reassuring. Leaves a lot hanging in the air.
Very volatile. The diplomatic fallout is huge. It really underscores this trend, this blurring of lines in international waters, dangerous precedents being set.
Yeah, the long-term implications feel pretty significant.
Yeah.
Okay, let's shift gears. From geopolitics to the global economy, U.S. tariffs have been making headlines again.
Absolutely. The Trump administration's tough stance continues in 2025. The baseline is that 10% tariff on, well, pretty much all imports.
Right, the base tariff. But then there are the extra tariffs for countries with big trade deficits with the U.S.
And those are the ones really biting. China, for instance, is facing 54%.
54%? Wow.
Yeah. The EU is at 20%. Japan, Vietnam, Cambodia. They're seeing tariffs between like 24% and 49%. These are not small adjustments.
No kidding. Some call them outrageous. Seems designed to fundamentally change trade patterns.
That's the idea. Now, Mexico and Canada, they're technically exempt from that 10% base tariff.
Right.
USMCA agreement, anti-drug cooperation, that's the reasoning.
But they didn't get off scot-free, did they?
Not at all. They got hit with 25% on auto parts back in April, then 25% on steel, aluminum, cars since February, and another 25% on other imports, though energy is lower, at 10%. It's clear pressure related to border stuff.
So dodging one tariff means getting hit by others. And they also removed that de minimis exemption for low-value Chinese goods. What's that about?
Right, the de minimis. For listeners, that basically lets small, low-value packages, like stuff you buy online, come in duty-free. Removing it for China back in May was a big tactical move.
Okay. So it hits e-commerce, those smaller purchases.
Exactly. And just today, Trump floated the idea tariffs up to 200% on imported medicines.
200%. That's incredible. So what's the official word on the impact, and what are businesses saying?
Well, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent defended the policy, but he also admitted they're in a significant legal mess. Might have to return half the reciprocal tariffs collected. He actually called the situation terrible.
Terrible.
From the Treasury Secretary.
Yeah. The government line is that companies should just absorb these costs.
But that's not realistic, is it? Big companies like Nike, Hasbro, Walmart, they've already warned prices will go up for consumers.
It seems inevitable. I mean, these tariffs could still bring in maybe $400 billion a year for the U.S. government, so they're hard to just get rid of.
Right.
But analyses suggest it hurts U.S. competitiveness long-term, risks fiscal health.
Then how's the rest of the world reacting?
Well, China, for example, hit back with 34% retaliatory tariffs and restrictions on rare earths. That's critical for tech.
Uh-huh.
Brazil's facing 50% tariffs since August, but surprisingly, they claim their economy will keep growing. We'll see.
Any other maybe unexpected impacts? This one's pretty stark. The Universal Postal Union says mail traffic to the U.S. dropped over 80% since late August.
80%.
Yeah.
Just mail.
Yeah. 88 postal operators suspended shipments shows a very real, immediate hit to global communication and commerce. ACTA, the trade body, is worried about global value chains.
Makes sense.
And U.S. stock markets have dipped on fears of an economic slowdown. The UN is talking about a perfect storm for developing nations. They said uncertainty itself is acting like a new tariff.
Uncertainty is like a new tariff. That's powerful. Speaking of markets, how have stocks actually done this year overall, despite all this?
Surprisingly, well, actually, up until recently, 2025 was shaping up to be potentially historic. The Spanish IBEX 35 was up 28%, Euro Stoxx 50 up 9%, S&P 500 also 9%, NASDAQ Q100 up 11%.
Those are really strong numbers.
Yeah.
Bullish sentiment.
Very. But this first week of September saw some drops. The old September effect maybe hitting Wall Street in Europe. You know, that historical tendency for markets to dip in September.
Right. Post-summer trading, fiscal year stuff. What about safe havens? Gold.
Gold's been doing the opposite. Hit a record $540 an ounce. Classic move when markets get shaky. Investors look for perceived safety. The S&P 500 had actually topped 6,000 points in August.
So a strong underlying trend before this recent wobble. Any moves expected from central banks? Interest rates.
In Europe, looks like the ECB will probably hold rates at 2% at their meeting on the 11th. Eurozone inflation is just slightly above target, around 2.1%.
Okay.
But in the U.S., expectations are really high, over 90%, that the Fed will lower rates on September 17th, especially after a pretty weak jobs report for August.
A U.S. rate cut would definitely ripple outwards. How about Latin American currencies?
The Mexican peso has actually strengthened quite a bit against the dollar, trading around 18.7 euro now, mostly on that expectation of lower U.S. rates.
Interesting.
In Peru, the parallel dollar is about 3.510 buy, 3.530 sell. Their central bank thinks it'll hit 3.75 by year end. Argentina's MEP dollar is hovering around 1,380 pesos.
Got it. Any other quick finance headlines to wrap that up?
Just a few things to watch. China put anti-dumping measures on EU pork. Russia's energy pivot continues. 81% of its oil and gas now goes to China and India because of sanctions. The BRICS Forum on Industrial Cooperation is coming up September 16th and 17th. And starting tomorrow here in Spain, BBVA is launching a hostile takeover bid for Banco Sabadell.
Okay, so lots happening there too. Let's move on. Health and science. What caught your eye this week?
Well, a big push, especially in the U.S., to integrate mental health services into primary care, making it easier to access, reducing stigma. That feels significant.
Yeah, that does sound important.
Also, ongoing work on vaccines and treatments for various viruses, but, it's not always smooth sailing. A chikungunya vaccine was actually withdrawn in the U.S. due to side effects, a reminder of the challenges.
True. And telemedicine. Still growing.
Oh, yeah, rapid growth continues there. And speaking of innovation, researchers in Mexico developed a smart bandage.
A smart bandage. Tell me more.
It's designed to speed up healing and monitor the patient's progress remotely. Kind of points to the future of personalized healthcare.
Very cool.
And Taiwan is using AI for youth mental health initiatives, another interesting application.
AI in public health, not just chatbots. What about pure science and tech breakthroughs?
2025 is really looking like a banner year for AI and personalized medicine. We're seeing advances in obesity treatments, gene therapy for things like muscular dystrophy, cystic fibrosis, even cancer vaccines using immunotherapy.
Incredible potential there.
Plus, brain-device interfaces are moving forward, and quantum tech, which could just revolutionize diagnostics, drug discovery.
Mind-boggling stuff. Any other sort of random science news?
One interesting little finding. Caffeine might actually reduce how well some antibiotics work against bacteria like E. coli.
Seriously, like a coffee could interfere with antibiotics.
Potentially. Still needs more research to see if it affects humans the same way, but yeah, surprising.
Wow.
On a much bigger scale, China just inaugurated the world's first double-tower concentrated solar power plant. It's in the Gobi Desert, a massive 1,000 MW facility combining different renewables.
Huge step for sustainable energy. And something celestial happened too. A blood moon.
Yeah, part of a lunar eclipse, the blood moon, was visible today in parts of Spain and much of Europe, Africa, Asia, Oceania.
What causes that reddish color again?
It's when the Earth lines up right between the sun and moon, and Earth's shadow falls on the moon, filtering the light to make it look red. Spain just caught the end of the total phase as the moon rose.
Nice.
It was actually the second total lunar eclipse visible there this year. And get this, Spain's expecting 3 total solar eclipses in 2026, 27, and 28.
3 in a row. That's incredibly rare for one place.
Very rare. And speaking of looking up, the new Vera Rubin Observatory started operations in August.
What's special about that one?
It's expected to, well, basically revolutionize our map of the universe. Could quintuple the known objects just in our solar system. It'll even help search for that hypothetical Planet 9.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Pushing boundaries out there and down here. Okay, shifting to consumer tech. The IFA fair in Berlin just wrapped up.
It did. Big focus on applied AI, immersive experiences. The buzzword seems to be agentic AI.
Agentic AI, what's that mean?
It's AI that doesn't just automate tasks, but can supposedly make autonomous decisions and act on them without constant human direction, pushing the envelope.
Interesting. So AI getting more independent.
Seems to be the trend. We also heard buzz about Apple's next iPhone, the 17, expected to have optimized AI and, potentially a higher price tag.
Thanks to those tariffs we talked about earlier.
Could be a factor, yeah, it all connects.
It really does.
Yes.
All right, let's wrap up with just a few quick highlights from sports and entertainment.
Okay. Formula One. Max Verstappen won the Italian Grand Prix today in Monza for Red Bull. McLaren had a good day, though. Norris second, Piastri third.
Good for McLaren. And combat sports.
UFC Fight Night in Paris yesterday. Nasruddin Imavov won the main event. And the NFL season just kicked off. Week 1 underway.
Seasons are rolling. How about music? New releases.
A bunch of albums dropped on September 5th. La Dispute, Suede, Justin Bieber, and Residente played a huge free concert in Mexico City's Zocalo yesterday. Imagine Dragons also played in Mexico City recently.
Sounds like a busy week all around. So quite a lot to digest globally.
Yeah.
Big shifts in power, trade tensions, incredible science.
Yeah, and sports, entertainment. It really shows how interconnected everything is and how fast things are moving. You really have to pay attention.
Look, until next time.